Bam, like that. We're live. What is going on out there? JT in the studio. Studio 10-4 live weekly update here, bringing you what's going on in the world of 10-4 magazine. And of course, Studio 10-4, where we do our live productions and bring you some sort of a different side of the print and paper and bring you to the digital world to life. Want to thank our sponsors. Definitely got a bunch of them out there that we want to take care of. With the upcoming show in April, of course, we have our presenting sponsors, NTA, PDI, out there taking care of us, donating big bucks to Trucking for Kids and putting them in a position to get their name right up there, up at the top of the list. Also want to thank NHRDA. That is the National Hot Rod Diesel Association. We have partnered with the NHRDA, and I'm going to get to those guys in a minute. I got a really nice presentation to share with you guys on that and where it is, when it is, and what it is. Want to thank Old Shed Productions. Old Shed Productions in the house. I got something here. If I'm not mistaken, there they are. Guys, take a look. This is over on our Facebook page. Old Blue Major is the tractor. These guys do specific old world photography. I mean, just great artwork of things they find along the way, I guess is the best way to put it, man. It's a different deal. oldshedproductions.com. Check them out. Go to their website. Make sure that you let them know 10-4 sent you, because that's important. Appreciate you doing that. Also, Spectrum Metal Polishing and Detailing. Mr. Mario Monette, he knows them well. That happens to be a next door neighbor to Kevin, who owns Spectrum. Some of you might have met Kevin at the Trucking for Kids 2022. They were out there presenting all their great products and how to and what to, and definitely some cool stuff from Spectrum. We hope to see them again sometime soon. Got a few people want to say howdy to. What's going on over there in the world with everybody? Mr. Billy Joe Burrell, good to have you back, bud. It's been a while, man. Mr. Dan Lynn's in the house, of course. Our chief editor, guy in charge, co-founder, founder, photographer, all that stuff that he does. April Sieben in there too. April, what's going on? And Miss Julia in the house. Howdy. Dale Bocaleone. Just love saying that guy's name every time I hear it. Good to see you, buddy. Clay Snyder, Dan Anderson, nice to have you. Miss Stephanie Haas in the house. Good evening to you. And Miss Shannon, good deal, good deal. Tim Siebes, what's going on, buddy? Word from Mr. Dan Linz there. PDI is donating a Big Boss intake manifold for an ISX Cummins 15 engine. 15 ISX 15 engines, 2000 through 22. Okay, cool. You guys need to definitely check out the silent auction. I'll tell you, it was at Trucking for Kids we're talking about last year. Awesome, incredible prizes that were donated for the silent auction. And I'll tell you, man, some people walked away with some serious swag for little dollars. And, listen, guys, the whole idea of this thing is to raise money for the kids. So, walking away and you got a great deal, hey, that's cool for you. But, somebody walks away with, let's say, a $4,000 manifold set, which somebody did. And I'm not going to say what they got it for. I'm just telling you, could have been, should have been a lot more. So hopefully this year we get that message across and everybody does a really good job of just throwing that money down and putting it in there to bid that stuff up and get the prize dollars up. Man, I want to see that happen there at Trucking for Kids 2023. Can't believe I'm saying it, 2023. What a deal. Hey, I want to say we have a special guest in the studio too, and I'm going to bring her out shortly, but a lot of you know Miss Ingrid Brown, who is hanging in the green room right now with a big smile on her face. She's the happiest gal that I've seen in the green room ever, period. So I'm just going to say that straight up. But Ingrid's got a great history with 10-4 magazine, and of course, co-founder that we lost a few years back, Mr. Eric Sieben. And we're going to talk a little bit Eric and a lot of Ingrid and trucking stories, because she's a trucker and she's out here on the road all the time. And just in our pre-show production meeting, we got rolling and we had to stop. Okay, stop, save that. Okay, no, stop. No, just don't say that. Stop that. And it was a never-ending conversation, and I'm just glad that I've got her here, and we're going to keep all that stuff ready to bring out and share with you here shortly. So FYI, yeah, Dan, truckingforkids.org. That is Also, the same thing, truckingforkids. Do we have truckingforkids.com? Oh, we do. Sorry about that. I think, never mind. We'll get it corrected. And yeah, we couldn't afford the com. Hey, listen, we'll get that corrected, but it is truckingforkids.org. And honestly, you know what? The easiest way to go, if you can't even remember that, 10-4 magazine, we got our own page on there. So you can check it out there, 10-4magazine.com, and get signed up, pre-register. Holy crap, I almost didn't say it, but I'm going to say it. Pre-register, pre-register, pre-register. Get yourselves pre-registered for Trucking for Kids 2023. So let's talk about what went on last weekend. I said we'd talk about it Wednesday after the weekend and the games happened, but playoffs happened on Sunday. The Niners showed up without a quarterback. I mean, literally, our third rounder got knocked out in the second. He got knocked out in the first quarter, I think. Anyway, and that's our third string guy. But great quarterback, got knocked out. Bring in the fourth string guy, gets knocked out. Bring back our third string guy. He's so jacked up he can't throw the rest of the game. He's doing handoffs and just seeing if we could run the ball. Needless to say, it didn't work. And he's got a torn ligament in his arm. This kid does. Wish him the best and hope he recovers well and can be back in the next season coming up. So, but congratulations to Philadelphia and the Kansas City Chiefs. So there's your Super Bowl for 2022-23 season. I knew Jamie was. Jamie, were you at the game? I was looking. I figured you might have been there, man, and you probably were rooting on the KC. I know you're a big time Chiefs fan. So, but yeah, I mean, honestly, I gotta tell you, I wanted to see Joe Burrow go back, but it's going to be Patrick Mahomes. So good luck to him and best of luck to both teams. I honestly, I don't have a dog in that fight, but we're going to have a hell of a party here at Studio 10-4, Studio North, Pacific Northwest, that is. We got a 20-pound brisket that I picked up. We're going to throw that in the smoker and a lot of other cool stuff. And we got some friends from around here that we're going to get together and have a Super Bowl party. Now, NHRDA, I want to talk about that for a minute. NHRDA. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but this guy was out in the parking lot warming up and getting ready to play in case he got called. Steve Young in the parking lot. You got to love this guy. He puts this tweet up and he says, "Warming up in the parking lot. Let me know." And that's after we lost our fourth string guy. I mean, seriously, I think we would have taken him at that point. But anyway, thanks, Steve, for that. And that was he posted that on SportsCenter, or SportsCenter shared it, and I thought, what a great guy. Anyway, back to the NHRDA, National Hot Rod Diesel Association. We are sponsoring, and I say we, that is 10-4 magazine. Let's bring that up and let you guys get a look at that. Desert Diesel Nationals, and that is coming up. That is coming up on April 14th and 15th, and that is going to be in Chandler, Arizona. 10-4 magazine, in conjunction with NHRDA and the Pickett guys, are going to be sponsoring this. We are going to be sponsoring the big rig racing that's going on, and Pickett's are sponsoring the truck show and shine. I think we're all kind of mixed in it together, really, to be honest, but kind of a big deal. NHRDA, a few years back, I was in Sacramento back when I was living in Folsom still. And these guys reached out to me. They found me on social media and they said, "We need you, man. Can you help us out?" I said, "Sure." Came down there, and my business partner and I, Adam, who some of you know from some of the shows he's come around and worked with us on, we did all the camera work for the racing for the weekend over there. These guys put a lot into it. It's a great show. They do pulls, they do trucks, they do big rigs. There's cars out there that are running. It's a huge show, and there's some badass rides out there. If it's pumping diesel, NHRDA's got them on the track and they're running. This one is going to be, again, April 14th and 15th. After that, and that's not the one I want. What do we want here? We want this show, NorCal. The NorCal Nationals are going to be May 19th and 20th. So you guys caught that. We've got Arizona in the desert, Trucking for Kids, and then back up to Redding, California, May 19th and 20th. So we'll be there. 10-4, I will be there. So I don't know the rest of the team that'll be there, but we'll see who all ends up there in these locations. Definitely Reading for me, JT. I'll be down there to cover the action and share that with you and live stream it. So look for that. Of course, the other big show that we haven't even said anything about, Mid-America Truck Show, and we're all gearing up for that. That's huge. That's coming up at the end of March. It's just, man, we got so much stuff going on this year already. It's like, let's just all jump into 2023, hit the ground running and go for it. And I'll tell you what, man, that's pretty much exactly what we've ended up doing here. Without any doubt, that's where we're at. And we are, it's a lot, but we're going to handle it. We're going to bring you a great show in Irwindale this year. 2 days. That's 2 days, guys, for everybody who was only counting one last year. We got 2 days back this year. So let's make it count. Let's have some fun. One more thing I want to share with you before I bring Ingrid out, and that is I have a little something we're going to do. It's a featured truck of the week. This happens to be Matt Green and his 96 379. This is from the January edition. This dump truck here was featured in the magazine last month. I can say that now that it's February 1st. Colin Kund is the one who shot this for us and wrote the story up. So give it a look there in the magazine and check it out. Quite a dump truck, all aluminum box on the back there, and fine looking tractor up front, truck actually up front, doing the job out there that nobody wants to do and keeping it clean and looking good while he's doing it. So congratulations on that. Classic looking dash. Love the old school dash, man. I got to tell you, honestly, I'm a fan. The new dash it is what it is. You got it. I don't know. It grows on you. You go from that 359 to 379 to 389 to 589 where we're going now. And everybody along the way, each generation's gone, oh, what are they doing? They're ruining our truck. I'm telling you, every damn time, right? Ingrid's going to attest to this. I know she is. So, 359, the hot rod of all trucks of all time. They killed it and brought in the 379. And then everybody fell in love with the 379 and anyways, you guys get what I'm talking about. And I got to tell you, at this point where we're at, it is an incredible development to be where the trucking industry is. Literally, I'm watching all the autonomous trucks. A lot of pictures are being shown. There's some stuff I can just tell you this. It's really cool, and Rogue Truck Body is going to be the first to do it. And when it happens, I'll let you know. But seeing the trucks that come into the shop that we build now, these things are just they're trucks that are CPUs on wheels, man. They really are CPUs on wheels, right? And everything is controlled electronically. It's just there's nothing that is not controlled by a computer pretty much on these trucks now, and how things work and how they're done is just not like it used to be. I don't know if any of you caught, and this is a little off topic, but if any of you caught 24 hours at Daytona this weekend, the 24 hours at Daytona, the cars that were out there were four-wheel computers going, a couple hundred miles an hour out there on the track. And they had hybrids out there this year, the first time that's ever happened. And these cars literally in the middle of the race would stop running and do a Control-Alt-Delete. Most of you know what that means, to reboot their systems and then start and keep going again after that. And it became so clear that's the age we're in right now, that it is all about electronics, computer-driven vehicles, and the old school cool that we all love, and especially that 10-4 represents and shares all the time. It's still around, but it's not the same as it was. So anyway, cool. Matt, good to have you on board there, buddy. And congratulations for being the truck of the week, first week of February. All right, so let's bring on this fine looking lady who's sitting here in this green room waiting with a big smile on her face. What is going on?
I'm sitting over here having fun, and you're like going to bring me on. I'm over here making faces, and
don't stop.
Anyway, hi.
Yeah, don't stop.
Hey, thanks for having me. Well, I appreciate this.
Absolutely. It's certainly my pleasure to have you on the show. And Ingrid and I met at Louisville one year when we just, I don't know, bumped into each other and we're chatting and talking about whatever truckers talk about, and of course Eric came up, and it came up that you knew Eric back in the day, so that's always good for a show and a story or five. So let's talk about that, man. You go back a ways with Eric, and back in the day you guys were friends, and and anybody that knew Eric, yeah, hard not to, right? You gotta love the guy. So a lot of hellos and howdies from everybody, by the way, Ingrid. So let's hear about Eric Stevens, your version.
Hey, everybody. And some names you mentioned, of course, are just dear, dear friends. And it's great to be here. Eric. Oh, where do I start? Dan, you have got to remember this. I mean, it's like Super Rigs 2002, Petro at Ontario. And it was so hot. And I was sitting on a bed bug mat, and I literally ended up doing 52 tires, and I couldn't find enough paint pens because they kept, it was so hot they dry out. And he'd walk by and go, "You're really doing that?" And I thought, who is this? Yeah, And then so the weekend went on, and we chit-chatted back and forth, and I saw Dan and stuff, and I thought, I put two and two together with the cameras and stuff. So the way we became friends was whenever they did the winner's picture, he got up in the back of a pickup and he was standing on the tailgate. Well, being the pain I am, I bounced right up in the pickup with him and stood beside of him. And he looked down at me and he goes, "Did you just get up here?" And excuse me. And I'm like, he said, "Could you step down and then you can," and I'm like, "Well, hold on, I'll get mine first." And he just laughed. And I mean, it was from that day forward. I mean, there was always something. I had a memory the other day. And he would just pop up to check on me. "I know you're out by yourself and I just want to make sure you're okay." I had a memory literally last week pop up, and he put like the old pirate that had been out in the weather and the wind and had lost his way in the desert, and made a saying underneath it. And I'm telling you, he's one person that I miss so much. It never mattered. I could hear him all the way across the truck show. "Hey, Ingrid!" And he always had a hug, but he loved everybody.
You could hear him and you could see him above everybody too. He was,
Well, yeah, and for me, I would find stuff to stand on, and I would literally stand on the bottom step of a truck. And I judged Dallas for quite a few years. I'd stand on the bottom step of the truck to talk to Eric, and he'd laugh, and I'd be like, "I can hear you better." It's hard to hear down here. And but no, I mean, the stories and the times with Eric, so many of us have our own memories, and those are the ones to cherish. I hate that I missed the service, and Dan, thank you, and Shannon for the invite, and I'm sorry I wasn't there, and that's such a regret. He's still here. He's right here. I mean, he rides with me every day. And when I think nobody's listening and nobody's going to call, I can think, oh, Eric would. Eric's calling, So, yeah, he's thought of all the time.
Well, that's awesome. And I think there's a lot of you that feel that way. And certainly we all have memories of Eric and a kind of a bigger than life guy. But what I hear a lot about is the little things that Eric did for folks that nobody knows about. And those stories have come up, through the years since his passing, and you find out who a person can be, and you didn't really know, and there's that. So thanks for sharing that.
I'm going to share one more thing with you.
All right.
In 2015, Kim Graham Jakes wrote the sweetest kind of art. I said Jakes, and I said it.
I know.
Yeah.
I do
but
too,
she wrote the sweetest, kindest memorial of my father, okay, of my daddy. And it was in 10-4, 2 pages. It was beautiful. And so he called me and he said, how many copies you want? I said, oh, just a couple's fine. I appreciate it. You know, I'll send them to you. Well, the delivery guy walks up to my door, and I was at home, and he knocks, and I go to the door, and it's this big box. I still have it. Literally sits at my house. This box, and it was full of magazines. But the key was he had wrapped the outside of the box with the 2 pages of my story. So whoever touched that box, and the guy that delivered it from FedEx had read my story before he brought it to me. And he's like, this is you. And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, whoever wrapped this to mail it must have thought a whole lot of you. And I said, you know what? I think a whole lot of the person that wrapped that to send it to me.
How about that? That's awesome. You know, I mean, there's something about, and I have to say I can relate in some ways to this when you have a business and you are out there representing it, meeting people, getting intertwined in that community and that industry or whatever it is, and you meet people along the way, man. It just, there's a certain way that we carry ourselves. And and Eric was one of those guys, man. Everything was all about 10-4. There was all these little things that he did, and Dan could run a list of them, just like, you know, his height. I don't know if you saw that or not, but Eric wasn't, 6 foot whatever. He was 4 foot 31 inches, right? So that's Eric Sieben, right? That's the kind of stuff he did. Anyway, there's people that do those things that just, and it's not like it's not an act, man. It's just who they are,
No.
They just are that way, and it comes out so natural. Some people are like, wow, is that guy for real? Yeah, he's for real. That's him. That's how it is. So thanks for sharing.
That was it. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing, Ingrid. So let's talk about Ingrid and who and where and what you do, what's going on with you. I put some stuff out there for everybody to know that you're part of the Freightwaves team. You're out there doing that. You're driving Fleener Brothers truck. So tell me, let's hear about it.
I got a wild hair in 21 and thought that I would retire for the second time, and I should have known from the first time it didn't work. So I helped a few people in some situations and stuff, and then of course came back to Fleener that I love dearly. And this time though, I had sold my truck, put my authority in dormant, and Kyle has given me just one awesome ride,
when it's running. We got right.
I know. I'm coming back to that.
Okay, or should I not?
No. I got it in September. And yes, it has a new dash. So I'm adapting. Believe me, we'll get in that in a minute.
Yeah.
But no, I've got a 23, 389, 291 inch wheelbase. It's coral and with a maroon frame. And then it has 3 of the 359 arrow stripes down the side of it. And unless you walk up and see it, the stripes inside the color are almost like a chameleon because they turn purple and they have an orange outline to them. It sounds crazy, but when you see it, you're going to go, whoa, But anyway, that's my girl. And she got her name from my mama. My mama named her 2 weeks before my mama passed here just recently. And I pulled her up to my mama's window and I'm like, look. And I explained her to her and she's like, okay. Well, I was in the office about, a week later and my phone rang and they had called for her and she was on speakerphone and she goes, Cora. I'm like, Cora, what? Yeah. Everybody looked around because I had it on speaker. Yeah. What is Cora? What is Cora, mama? And she's like, her name's Cora. Click. So her name's Cora.
There it is.
a real show truck name, or a working truck name, but Cora. Yeah,
Sounds like a
but
working
yeah,
truck name to me. I don't know. Show truck
it's a
names
working
are,
truck
yeah,
name.
yeah, yeah.
I name everything. I mean, all the way from, my 79 needle nose Nabanero, her name's Eleanor. Now, listen, I had Eleanor before the movie. So,
Yeah. Okay.
Eleanor. Okay. Yeah. But
For those
anyway,
that don't
yeah,
know,
I
Gone in
mean,
60 Seconds, the
yeah, Gone in
Shelby,
60 Seconds is
yeah,
Eleanor. Bush.
yeah, yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I name everything. It's like, and they have a meaning. Every truck is literally a personality to me. It's not just a piece of iron. I had Daisy, and she was driving Miss Daisy because, I mean, she was driving the old woman around. And then I had Faith, and she was my last one. And, without Faith, I wouldn't have had her or be where I'm at today. So, yeah, I'm like this old sentimental. The older you get, by the way, all y'all that are watching this, the older you get, the more sentimental you'll be.
So Ingrid, do you cry during the commercials on TV?
No.
Okay. Well, you're not there yet then. You're not there. You're not there yet.
No, that's a trucker side of me. I don't have a whole lot of tears. Okay, never mind. Maybe I do.
I think you.
I don't cry commercials. I don't cry commercials.
Oh, I've seen plenty of gals that leak during commercials, and it's just, you know what? I did nothing wrong with it. Just asking. That's all.
Sappy love stories.
Oh,
because
yeah.
it's like, I don't cry because they're sappy. It's like, excuse me, what about me? Hello, but
Well, let's talk about some other stuff here that
let's do it.
We've chatted about, and one of the topics that we started going on about was CB radios, and where in the hell are we with CB radios at this point in the world of trucking? And I asked you, I said, are you one of the gals on the radio at night that's just chatterboxing to everybody? And so tell me, where are you at with the CB radio these days? What's it doing for you?
In today's, I'm still living way back when with CBs, because today I either have to hear, and I don't mean this in a gender way, but you hear women as well as men complain all the time that all that is trash. Well, you know what? It's not trash because nobody talks on it anymore. If they talked about it, we wouldn't have all these pileups. But,
Yep.
The CB's not used anymore for what it was. I mean, it was that communication. And you yourself know that. And so many that are right here with us know that. I mean, just whether it's somebody that's waiting down the road or whether it was keeping you awake at night. You and I were talking, or we started talking earlier. Ricky, that used to run with us, he's out of Texas, and he was very, very quiet, very quiet. You'd never hear anything out of him. And all of a sudden it would get quiet because everybody would get tired coming across West Texas. It'd be about 5 of us going to Dallas Market. It's 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And all of a sudden he'd tee up, and oh my gosh, he had a voice that was like to die for. And he would sing for hours. And it'd be like, oh my God, we're already in Merkel? What? Hello? And times like that. Or there's a guy, and some of y'all probably are going to know him. His name's Pinky. Pinky is in Barstow, or was in Barstow. Pinky was in a wheelchair and had a base station and was on the radio all the time. And that's when Barstow was really booming. And, I made friends with Pinky, and, had phone conversations and stuff with him as well. But he could either stir the pot or he could fix anything. If you didn't know where something was, or if you needed help with something, he was there. But, when he passed and we lost him, it was like Barstow just kind of died. I mean, there was no CB chatter, anywhere. And anymore, you can't pick the radio up and go, okay, come on over there, driver. Oh, wait a minute. That means somebody passed me, right? Oops. Anyway, come on over there, driver. Nobody does that anymore. Instead, you get bright lights. So, CB radio, it has so many memories. My dad, I grew up with base stations. I actually have 7 big base stations, and I'm talking the major big ones left from my father that I won't get rid of. And, you know, I was telling you, my dad set me up in my truck, my 95 Kenworth or my 99P. Anyway, set me up with a linear. And I could talk to him from El Paso to Fabian, and then I could talk to him in Plateau for just a little bit, and he's in Tennessee, and he could talk to everybody. And then, of course, Papa Smurf. Now, a lot of people might not know Papa Smurf. Papa Smurf was the guy that had the vans and the cars that took everybody across the border to Juarez. And you heard him up on 40, up on 80, up on 10, everywhere. Papa Smurf was going across the border. And, but they're just such good people in the communication. You know, it's a way we knew that somebody was broke down and what each of us could do. I mean, we've lost a lot in the CB side. So
Jeff Patel,
I wish we had it back.
Jeff Patel made the comment here. I remember when, people would tell you what was ahead and stop, help, if you're broke down, and, different aspects of just, some common courtesies that we all shared and had. And I guess it kind of goes both ways. You got to participate to win the lottery. You got to participate on the radio to get help. I don't know if people are afraid. I don't know if they just don't care. I don't know if it's just they can't stop to help because they got a schedule they got to keep. I mean, look at these guys that are they're on a tight schedule, and they're on the what is it, the electronic, ELD, and there's a lot of issues that go on there. So I'm going to say, there's probably any number of reasons, but I can say this much, it certainly isn't what it used to be. And knowing what I see in the truck stops too, when I was out on the road, especially, not so much now, but when I was out on the road, and guys, some of us, I think the guys would look for other guys kind of in their same wheelhouse and connect. They knew who they could connect with and who they probably are not going to connect with, and just sort of went, yeah, whatever, and left them guys alone. I mean, which, for me, I like to say hi to everybody, but at the same time, I don't know, I might not want to know you. You might be who knows what crazy, and I don't know.
I'm bashful. You can tell I'm bashful.
Oh, yeah.
You know me. But, remember whenever we got into a truck stop, it didn't matter if, it was an easy back into a parking spot or whatever. You always heard somebody say, hey, driver, I got you back. Come on over here. Hey, driver, come on. Yeah. You got him clear. You got me clear. Come on over there. It's not there anymore.
Well,
and
I feel lucky.
So many
get the headlights
don't believe
and
in
taillights. At least you get a flash, to come over and you get a thank you maybe, and that's kind of a big deal at this point, right? I mean,
do you know? And you probably are going to say, okay, I counted from Coachella, TA, to the Petro in Deming, New Mexico, literally 73 bright lights to let me over. Now, I'm not saying I passed 73 trucks, but I guess if I got bright lighted, I passed them. But anyway,
somehow they ended up behind you. I think you passed them.
I mean, they either slowed down or something. 73. And I'm like, oh, y'all quit. So, it's just pure out laziness. I mean, dadgum, reach down, turn lights off and on, and quit being so doggone lazy. That's the whole thing of it. Sorry, I told you I was blunt to the point.
So, and again, I'm going to be the advocate over on this side of it and say, instead of hitting that switch where it's a temporary, momentary switch, most trucks don't even have those anymore. They don't. So the lights aren't going to go off. They're going to just hit you with their brights, right? And that's what you're talking about, is instead of hitting the momentary to lose the lights and let you come over, they're hitting the brights to tell you to come over. They don't know any better. Nobody's told them. Nobody bothered to share that information with them. And also, again, most of these trucks, they got rocker switches in them now. They don't have the old switches like we had with
Mm-hmm.
toggle extensions on them or anything. They're rocker switches on everything, and so again, it's a different world. So I don't know how to keep some old school cool alive, except for those of us that remember it and can pass it along to those that are coming up, which is pretty much true of anything: music, trucking, the world, our kids, whatever. I mean, if you have a way to do it, then maybe that's a possibility to be able to share that stuff out there. But I want to talk to this other thing we were talking about. And there's always those guys out there on the radio. At least there was when I was out there. They just couldn't help themselves, and they would be on the radio stirring it up. Between Southern California, L.A., and Vegas, we used to run this load. We'd run an empty into Vegas and then load it with sand back to L.A., back to the sand plant, the glass plant. Anyway, this dude, I don't know where he was out there, but it seemed like he was always out there when we were, and he'd just be cussing and carrying on and talking smack to everybody and telling them, getting them riled up. So that somebody else would get riled up and start talking back to him. I want to find your ass, buddy. I'm going to beat you and all. Come on down. I'm at mile marker such and such, and you can. I'll be right there waiting for you. And the whole point of this guy and that whole scene was just to get everybody's blood boiling and wake their ass up and get you down the road. And it worked. It did. And we were laughing. Most of us are laughing. I'm laughing, and then when I had enough, I'd turn on the XM radio and forget about it. But anyway, stuff like that.
Do you remember the truck challenge of the genders back in 2003, 2004 in Dallas?
I do not.
Real quick. Okay. Really quick. All right. There was a guy that called into XM Sirius with Steve Summers and said women had no place in a truck. They need to be at home, cooking dinner, taking care of babies. And yeah. And I mean, he was like dead serious. Well, I laughed. My ex-husband was back there and he's like, you're not. No, you're not. Yeah, I am. And he's like, what are you going to do? I said, nothing. So I called and I said, okay, hey, tell this guy that if he wants to, let's put his money where his mouth is. And we'll meet in Dallas parking lot. We'll have a drive off, me and him. I don't care. I don't even know who he works for. Come on. And we'll cut the lids out of 2-gallon jugs and have money for Special Olympics. Daniel was there and Eric, and he said yes. So for 6 weeks, we put together, he and I and a whole bunch of volunteers, many of y'all put together, and we put together the truck challenge of the genders. Well, when I found out who he was a Swift driver.
Yeah.
And the nicest guy you ever met in your life. And Dallas allowed us to put the trucks inside, and we raised $13,000.
Wow.
We had a drive off. Suzanne and Dan, were you or Eric judges? Anyway, it was crazy, but
they were there taking pictures.
Yeah, that was it. You know what? I just ran across Suzanne's picture you took of us standing there. Anyway, but here's my story. Here's what I'm trying to say. He said the only reason I made the phone call was because I was tired and because I was trying to stir crap and I was trying to wake everybody else up. Mm-hmm. And I knew it'd make the women mad. I knew that it would probably ruffle guys' feathers, or they'd jump on my bandwagon that I was starting that I didn't really mean. But exactly the same exact way. And look what came out of it. He was great. And I'm like, yeah, but you still drive for Swift. But never, I'm just kidding.
Well, let's hope he graduated and either is at the top of that pack or at least driving somewhere else for himself. So, yeah, you never know. But $13,000, that's nothing to sneeze at. So congratulations. That was a good deal.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So
it was everybody else.
The other side of trucking, and this is more of the business side, you're a full-time driver for Fleener Brothers. You're out there,
Yes.
making it happen. The story you were telling me a little bit about the issues you're having with your truck, and it's in the shop again, and seems to be again. What was I saying? They're CPUs on wheels. They are computers on wheels, and your problem has become one specifically dealt with dealing with electricity. Your wiring or something in there is not happening, and the truck's down. So, what's the ETA and getting back on the road?
They got a pinion machine in, to where they're like, basically, to symbolize it for me and maybe for others, is it's like an ultra scan to go in and check all the wiring. We did find there was like a bad harness in the front, a bad harness in the sleeper. They stripped my whole sleeper out, put a new harness in. How I got the one out of all of the ones, I don't know. Yep. But anyway, they're amazing at fixing it. Larson has been amazing about getting on it. But I'll find out tomorrow, and we'll go from there. I've been able to run pretty much. It's just ding dong things like, sorry, can I use words like that?
Oh,
it's things
absolutely.
like dash, and it's not dash problems. And people are like, oh, we told you the electric dash. It's not the dash. It's not it. It's literally, and most will know, a J1939, and going into the harness system. So yeah, we'll find out more tomorrow.
Okay.
And I love my truck, so that's why I'm staying at home and I'm not getting into nothing else.
And wait until it's back and get Cora back, right?
Yes. We need a name for her. I mean, we need a real, sorry, Mama, but we need a real name. That's a nickname.
Well, you put it out there. What do y'all think? Maybe you guys come up with a name for Ingrid's truck. Cora's on there right now, but could be decided to be named later. So share your thoughts there. What about something new and exciting? And we're going more for a show trucky name, or are we going more for a working truck name? What do you think? What do you want?
Hey, when I talk Kyle and I pitch in and get done with her, it might take a bit. This year is my 20th anniversary at Matt's of winning limited mileage combo. I was the first female of winning at Matt's first place. And I have to give kudos to my ex-husband. Keith Bell was just amazing at building trucks, and so was, Truck Rods helped as well. But yeah, that was my show truck. We had matching show trucs, and lots of people remember.
Yeah, now you just dated yourself. Truck Rods.
Listen, I'm still dealing with Dusty over there. So go figure. Dusty's like, oh my God, I was 20 something. I said, I'm almost 62. Just stuff it.
I've got a great picture of myself and Mike Horan in Vegas from back in, I think, 04, 5 out of 6, whatever. I don't know. And my truck was here. And here's my truck, and behind me was Pickett and that black 359 that they had, and then Truck Rods was right here. Was it 04? Okay.
04. Yeah, because if I'm not mistaken, and probably somebody can get a hold of Vlad, or I'll talk to him. Vladimir had Peter Rod there.
Yep, Pete Rod.
And yeah. But yeah, this is 20 years. And everybody thought I was crazy because I took Faith in 2017 down the judges line in Tulsa. Well, I didn't get there till like 9:30 on Saturday morning. And I had just got the phone call on my way down there on Friday that I had cancer. And I'm like, I'm going. I don't care. I had a Conestoga. I'm dirty. I don't care. It's raining. Who cares? So I did. And it was actually my 15th anniversary of Super Rigs, of my first Super Rigs in 2002 when I met Dino and Eric. So I said, people may not understand what I'm doing. And when I rolled up on the line, Eric Harley walked around and he goes, and Abbott, he goes, what are you doing? And I said, just judge it. But here's the kicker. There's somebody that's in this room right now that I stuck in the passenger seat, and they said, they got the dash and said, you are not going across the judge's line like this, are you, Ingrid? And I said, you can either hold on and go with me, or you can either get out. Well, they finally got out at the judge's line and took pictures, so you can guess who it was.
Is she hanging out right here? Is
It
that
was
her?
Stephanie. It was Stephanie.
That's funny.
But these are the great memories. These are the things that I want to keep in my career. These are the things that I often say, and a lot of people take it the wrong way, but I don't mean it in any way other than exactly, I don't have to truck, John. I love to truck. I'm not out here chasing money. I'm out here chasing the fact that I get to meet you, and I get to meet people, and I got to meet Eric and Dan and everybody that's in here right now that I know, and ones I don't know. Plus seeing the people and the cultures and everything in the country. I'm the most blessed woman in the whole wide world.
Awesome. Well, there's something to be said about what we do for work, and it's an old cliche, but if you love your work, if you love your job, you'll never work a day in your life, right? I think that's a true story. It's what you like to do, and even if it's a hard day out there, it's okay.
I can remember a couple of days in 2019 that I was unloading cows at minus 40 in the thumb of Michigan. And I was thinking, Jeremy Hassevort, I love you very, very much. But if I had a hold of you right now, yeah.
There was,
and that's okay. I still loved it. I still loved it.
See, there you go. That's what I said.
Diversity's been my big thing.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, the only thing I won't and haven't hauled is cars. And that's because I am not getting on a top deck. Not because I'm scared of heights. I love heights.
Yeah.
But my butt is not going to fit through a window to climb out of. And I'm not getting stuck like Winnie the Pooh.
So Terry and Casey, if you're out there listening, Ingrid says she wants to drive car hauler.
You are batshit. You're batshit crazy.
Easy family channel.
Sorry. No.
Oh, that's all good.
That's BATCHIT. No.
That's all good. That's all good. We talked yesterday, and we had so many other stories that we could kind of go to. We're kind of running out of time, but Stephanie had another comment there about everything happens for a reason, and it does. Especially in this world, being in the right place at the right time, man. It's what it's all about. It really is. But you were, and I'm going to backtrack this, and because there's a guy who was at the, he was there as well as you when this all kind of started to happen, but he don't like talking much about it. But let's talk about Trick My Truck, and that little bit of that story. Give us the Reader's Digest version of that when you were there. And I want to say howdy to everybody that's jumped in and joined us. Jeff, I love your comments, buddy. Thanks for being on the show, Jeff Patello. How's that golf cart coming, man? We're going to see that out there this year for Trucking for Kids. And JC, we're going to see you pretty soon, buddy. Good to have you in here with us too. And let's all get together. And this year, dang it, I want to have a cold one over there wherever those are happening. Because last year, man, I missed that. I was too busy running around with Carl the cart and covering the show. But I want to definitely catch up. So let's do that and have some cold ones. Anyways, so let's go back to Trick My Truck. I mean, I just want to give kind of an intro to it. At the point of this show not even being a thought, nobody ever heard of it. Here's an audience in the world that just thought truckers were, diesel, redneck, whatever, undesirables probably for the most part, and doing a dirty job and, necessary evil. I mean, I think that pretty much sums it up, right? We had to deal with them because we wanted to get anything. We we dealt with the trucker. So what happened to that in the early 2000s was there's a lot of guys that started coming together and doing the show truck thing. And Brian Martin was one of them. Rod and his brother were a couple more pickets. They did what they did. On the lower key, there was the rest of us that just kind of sort of fell into it and started doing whatever we did. You couldn't go to the store and buy cool stuff. You had to make it. It was all about one-off. You made it, whether it was one-off, raw materials that you formed and shaped and cut and polished, or it was something that started out as something else and you turned it into something new. And that was a lot of stuff that we did. Where there was a lot of new stuff out there that we got a hold of. Motorcycle accessories were big back in the early 2000s on trucks because there was a lot of cool motorcycle accessories that you could put in play. But anyway, that being said, fast forward to 2004 or so ish, and what happened? We were in Vegas, and
that's when the producers came and talked to Pickett's, and Pickett's got with Brian and Galen, and Galen was there, of course, got with Brian and figured out that who had the space and who had the manpower and could get that, and where they could pull out getting a painter like Ryan. And like, we laugh, Ryan O, he calls me Ingrid O. And it just came together right there in Vegas. I mean, like right there. And these guys, the producers were just your general, hey, we're going to go to Vegas, I guess, and find ourselves our next show. And I mean, look what happened. Look what it turned into. And being able, I was blessed that I got to work with Scott St. Germain and Galen and Brian to go and do some shows with the merchandise trailer and Inferno and Chicagoland Speedway. And that was just phenomenal. And just the different things that watching the people that had no clue how this stuff was done, and watching what Brian turned out and fabricated because we didn't have.
Right.
And watching Ryan bring the motorcycle paint over to the truck paint is, I mean, I can remember some ghost flames that Ryan did that it was like, oh my gosh. Mm-hmm. And it just got better and better. And the ones that they did these builds for, watching several of those, and I think everybody watching the show could also see it, were so well deserving of getting their truck, redone. And you can still find some of these trucks that are on the road running today. and several still look just as good, I mean, yeah, they have the wear and tear, but they still like look really good. I hated to see the show, end. I hated, for that to happen, but
I think it ran its course, and
it ran its course.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It ran its course.
Trucking is a cycle. Trucking's a 2 to 5 year cycle, and then it's going to change. And where people feel like that it's not, well, I promise you can go back to 79, and every 2 to 5 years it's changed. So yeah, if you think that you get settled into one path or one way, it's going to change. Yeah. So, and that's the part that, especially, now with my Miracle on 18 Wheels, I really try to make sure I keep that repetitive, is to make sure people don't get complacent and realize, don't get stuck in today, because tomorrow's going to be different.
Well, and you got your office is on 18 wheels, and you've got glass all around you. Pretty much your view changes every day. So, it's hard to stay in a funk, man. I'll tell you, You can get it and be funky and scream and yell and get it out. And I think by the time you hit the next mile marker, town, whatever, hopefully you're in a better mood and things are going good again and you're picking up the CB. And I could see you chatterboxing on there and just whether somebody's listening or not, just letting them know how you feel. So it's been fun talking to you.
Thanks. I deeply appreciate it. I really do. And, I looked forward for this since you asked me. And I'm sorry that it's taken us this long to get it together.
It all worked
But,
out.
like I told you, I set it. It's just laid back. It's the memories will carry me till I am done trucking. And that's not going to be anytime soon, y'all. Well, wait a minute. It's God willing and the creek don't rise.
Well, so a couple things before I let you go. We're going to see you in Louisville. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Good. We want to see you in Louisville. Tell everybody where they can catch you during the week and what you're doing and where.
You can find me. I do a show from the road, and it's on Freightwaves TV. It comes out on Thursdays on Freightwaves TV at 2 p.m. It also, you can find on YouTube. I also do articles every week for Freightwaves and also do reviews for WeDrive. And you can find me at ibrown@freightwaves.com. You can throw something at me. You can RolandBLLC@gmail.com. Find me, Google me. I mean, I'll be the only Ingrid truck driver. I mean, if Ingrid Bergman was a truck driver, we're good.
All right.
There you go.
Get out there and find Ingrid. She's out there. She's not hiding, and she's got a lot of good stories and things to share with you. I got a couple more things I want to get to before we shut down. So everybody hang in there with me. Ingrid, thank you, darling, for coming in and being a part of the show. I appreciate you. And I can't wait to see you in real life coming in Louisville. Okay?
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
All right.
See ya.
What a great gal. I love having her on the show. A lot of fun to be in front of in real life, talking to her. Closest we can get today is our virtual studio, but it did great, and it certainly kind of closed the gap a little bit. So thanks for being out there and being on the show today. A couple things I just wanted to hit. Obviously, we've got some things at 10-4 that are going to be coming up. Obviously, Trucking for Kids, we've talked about. Matt's, we're going to have, hopefully have our new t-shirts. We'll be having magazines out there. There'll be the March edition, some special stuff coming out that we'll be sharing there. Magazine, of course, is still free at this point. But listen, hey, best way to get 10-4 magazine, get a subscription. It gets mailed to you in a clear plastic jacket. So it'll be given to you perfectly like the day it came off the press. And you can have that magazine in your hands and flip the pages and check out all the cool shot stories and everything that are available in the magazine. We look forward to seeing everybody at Trucking for Kids in April. We'll hopefully you guys will support the NHRDA out there as well at the events that are coming up. Be sure and go to their Facebook page, check them out, NHRDA, National Hot Rod Diesel Association, of course, their website as well. Pre-registration for Trucking for Kids, always important. Make sure you guys do that. And down here, it should be truckingforkids.org, or you can just go to 104magazine.com and you can check it out there. Thanks to Old Shed, thanks to Spectrum, NTA, PDI, everybody else that helps make the show, and it makes it a possibility for us to be here doing what we do. Without you guys, there's no 10-4 magazine, there's no show. So Ingrid just threw a big kiss to everybody, and I can still see her in here in the green room. So thank you, Ingrid. We caught that out here, and I think everybody else felt it as well. So Tim Stevens, good to have you back on the show, buddy, and Shannon and Dan and Gene. Thanks for always being there at the top of 10-4's chain of command and making good decisions. So appreciate you being able to do that. Some other stuff that I didn't get to, but I want you guys to know about. In my area here in Pacific Northwest, as well as across the nation too, there was some money out there available through the state, through the government, through the federal government. and Coos Bay was trying to go for this grant, $1 billion or a part of it. They got flat out denied. The money ended up in another location. Check out the story. It's on Freightwaves, and it's about the mega grant money that's available. Um, I really think they missed the ball on this one. The federal government did by not getting that money into Coos Bay. They would have opened that port up and had a huge relief of freight flowing into this country through Coos Bay, Oregon. And they're not giving up on this, by the way. Coos Bay is still, the Port Authority there is still going after the money. So hopefully they get it. They're talking about 9,000 jobs just in the region being developed from this thing. And not to mention all the trucks coming in and out and all the ancillary type of commerce that would take place because of it. But check it out. The story again, it's on Freightwaves. They have it. I read their version of it, and do a search about the Coos Bay Mega Grant, and you'll see all the other stuff on it too, and what's going on and where this money is going. It's very interesting where it is. We're talking billions of dollars out there that's just being doled out, I think, to whoever's screaming the loudest, and who knows the right person. So, yeah, interesting stuff. One more thing. You guys are out there, you're in business, you're doing what you got to do. You guys need repairs done on your trucks. You are in the shops getting stuff done. I'm going to just assume that most of the people you deal with are legitimate and take care of you and are honest. Be careful of the ones that are not. My truck, my Dodge that I have, is in the shop locally here, and it's getting repaired and redone because of a shop that had it down in California who completely dropped the ball. They're out of business now. I was just quiet and stood by. I didn't do what I should have done. I should have stuck up for myself. But this guy did nothing but destroy my truck. And I know it happens out there probably more than we'd like to know or think about it. But stand up for yourself and make sure that you get heard, and that you know what you're talking about, know what you're doing. That you don't get taken advantage of, man. I'll tell you what. There's places out there that will do that. So be careful. And you guys out on the road, if you're looking for a repair shop and you're out here on the West Coast, we've got a magazine full of advertisers that offer repair services of all kinds, from tires to axles to transmissions to engines to you name it. Everything that needs to be done on a major scale to just a routine service. So check us out. Our service directory is in there, and listing is of different guys that advertise, companies that advertise in the magazine. You don't have to have the magazine to find that information. You can digitally look it on 104magazine.com and go to the digital copy, and it's in there as well. So hope we did a good thing for you guys today, and you learned something. And you also got to meet Ingrid Brown. If you didn't know her before, now you do. She is a great gal and a great personality to be a part of the industry and what we do. And Ingrid, thank you for doing that. You made us all look good. Y'all take care. Keep the shiny side up. JT out for now here at the Studio 10-4 Live. We'll be back next week with a new show and more information and fun stuff to share with you guys. Don't know what it's going to be yet, because you just don't know what's going to happen until it does. So till then, we'll see you. Take care. Have a great weekend, and stay safe.